Hi guys, welcome to episode 1 of the UI Spotlight, where we talk to extraordinary people doing extraordinary things within the UI community. And for episode 1, we've got an absolute legend that we're going to be speaking with. We've got Ronald Maskell. Welcome, my man.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy. Good to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when I was thinking about starting this show, I thought, who am I going to speak to first? And of course, we tried to tee this up a little while ago, but we wanted to catch up with you because your journey's been incredible, but more than the journey, the influence that you've had on so many other members and so many other clients has been awesome. You help sort of lift everyone around you, which I love to see. And I've seen just some crazy changes within you over the last, it's been 24 months or 2 years?
Yeah, nearly 2 years now. I think it was, it's a year and a half. Yeah. February I started last year.
Insane. So you've done the 9 and 6, you won Muscle Camp.
Yep.
You were the winner of the Muscle Challenge, and now you're in the advanced classes and just rocking out. Why don't you tell us about your journey and I guess where you started and sort of what's happened for you?
Wow. So I think it all just started when I first left my place of employment. Did a little bit of soul searching, trying to figure out what was going to make me happy, and my weight was something that was always dwelling on my mind that I wanted to do something about. I nearly tipped the scales to 100 kilograms at one stage there. And it was a friend of mine that actually went through your program and that I was watching on Facebook, and him checking in and asking, what's he doing? How's he going? And then when I never saw him, I didn't see his photo, of course, because of the profile pic. And then, 6 weeks later when he went 11 kilos down and I didn't recognise him, and I thought, mate, I have to give this a shot.
Yeah.
I have to give it a shot. Like, it obviously works. I could see it. And so I just came into one of your welcome seminars and, just a bunch of people around the room that I could feel sorry for themselves, and seeing people wanting to make a change and miserable. You just walked in the room and you lit the place up, and just, I believed every single thing that you had to say about wanting to help us. And
hopefully we delivered.
Hey, 11 and a half.
Hopefully I didn't disappoint.
No, mate, 11 and a half kilos down. Your energy rubbed off on me, and I walked into this place channeling a bit of your energy and said, everybody can make a change, and that's where I started. So 6 weeks down the track and lost 11.5 kilos.
Wow, 11.5, huge.
One of the best feelings I had in my life. The confidence that I can do it, that it is up to me. It's my body, it's my mind. And signed up for membership straight away after that.
Huge. So after that, you lost 11.5.
Yep.
And got into membership, training, kept on with nutrition, mindset, etc. Then you decided to do the Muscle Challenge.
Yeah.
When we released that. Tell us about your journey in the Muscle Challenge.
Well,
Muscle Camp.
Yeah, Muscle Camp. I remembered coming in on a Saturday and watching the first round of boys go through their photos. And I looked at their before shots and went, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I thought the 9 and 6 transformation of 9 kilograms in 6 weeks was a big deal. When I saw the transformation some of these guys had after Muscle Challenge, I went, shut up and take my money. I want this. I want this.
Yeah.
I think everybody really dreams of the body they have seen on television, and I wanted it as a bit of a selfish thing for myself. But it was one of the most incredible journeys I think I've ever done in my life.
Wow. Awesome.
It really set a goal for me for commitment, hard work, determination, to follow through with everything, have a set of guidelines, much like 9 and 6 is. I mean, you spell it out to everybody. If you want to do this and you really want it, you've put the recipe down on a piece of paper that people just need to follow, and you'll succeed. And that Saturday of my photos, I looked back and thought to the faces of all the guys I saw doing their photos and how happy they were. I was in that I was in that league, and I looked at myself, and I honestly have not worked so hard before in my life, but not bore the fruit of such hard work either, you know.
I mean, you looked incredible. It was insane, and I loved you were tanned up, looking pumped, ready to go. But I remember watching you. I do remember that day on the Sunday when you were watching the previous round doing their photos, and you were amped up, and you're like, dude, I got to do this. I can't wait to do it. And then from that day, you were just focused on that next challenge. And I love how hungry you get when you set your eyes on something. You go for it. I love that.
And you know, it's exactly what I needed. You know, you have a goal, and you have something to chase, and you've said it before, I think it's too right. You need goals in your life, you know. So if you don't, once you achieve it, if you don't set yourself that next goal, you end up in this limbo stage of, you know, how am I, and I'm going to be content with just doing what I'm doing. Yeah. And that next goal for me was Muscle Challenge, and you know, it delivered in every single way.
Huge. So what were some of your fears before? I mean, let's rewind back to 9 and 6. So you were 11.5 kilos heavier. You were in a bit of a rut. What were your fears and I guess limits, mindset limits around starting a new journey, starting a journey of change?
Well, you know, firstly, you know, hearing the stories about changing yourself, changing for the better, and the struggles you can go through with family and friends, you know, not wanting you to change. That was a big part of me. I really experienced part of that hero's journey and trying to stay on course with what I wanted to do and the weight I wanted to lose and the clean eating and the lifestyle change that I wanted in my life, despite what other people sort of said about it and said, you know, you don't need this, you're not fat. And so that was probably my first struggle in 9 and 6. I also dealt with physical struggles. I had knee surgery, cartilage removed from my knee about 18 months, 2 years before, and in the back of my mind I went through some classes and thought, is my knee going to hold up? Am I going to hold up? That was something that played on my mind. Temptation was another thing, which is in everybody that goes through not only 9 and 6 but every other challenge here. You're faced with temptation every single day, and it's overcoming that which, you know, builds a stronger mindset and better confidence in what you're doing and confidence in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was a big challenge, you know. Muscle challenge as well was not only a physical one but a mental as well. Like I said, it was some of the hardest work I've done in a long time,
absolutely.
But it's something that I look back on, and you know, you always think that when you've worked hard at something, the value of it is so much greater than if it's just been handed it to you.
So
and
true. Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things to remember, is that any transformation in life, any journey of change is always going to be challenging in the beginning. And if we focus on the pain of the initial week or couple of weeks or whatever it is, those initial fears, we're never going to get off the ground. We're never going to build that momentum. But if we understand that, you know, change is always hard in the beginning, uncomfortable in the middle, and blissful at the end, and we know that progression gets better as we go, we adapt, and our comfort zone, we run away from it, but yet we know it's going to follow us, and as we adapt, as it gets easier, then we can sort of trust that process and move towards it. And you've continually done that with everything that you've delved into, trusted the process and took on the challenge. And as we saw in the muscle camp, you won out of everyone. You smashed it, and you took the prize. So how did that feel when you found out that you won out of everyone who did muscle camp across the board, that you were the one that pulled through and won the overall winner? How'd that feel?
Wow. First, it was just amazing. I mean, the guys, everybody that did Muscle Challenge with me, you know, Andrea, Corey, and Mick, and there are a lot of guys that, you know what, I'd been a member here for 6 months and I hadn't spoken to any of them, and it was the newfound friendships that I had with every single one of them that really carried me through going through the Muscle Challenge. And I would walk into the gym every single day and I would see some of the guys working on that Muscle Challenge, and I'd see the physical exhaustion they had. I'd seen just how hard they worked. I'd see the sweat pouring off them. I'd see the desperation they had in themselves. And so walking in there and just going and seeing how hard they worked, I thought to myself, I better smash this today.
Yeah.
I had better give it my all today. And that's what did. I think the reason why I motivated myself to be as successful as I was seeing how hard everybody was working at this. So if I didn't give it that, I was really shorting myself out.
Absolutely. And I could tell during those sessions you were rallying the team. That was, again, one of the reasons why you did so well, was that you were motivating everyone else. When everyone else were having those dips, you were the first one in to pep them back up and get people refocused, and you've just got that natural leadership ability which shone through in the challenge, which was incredible. So again, man, you should be so proud of yourself. Thanks. What you've done's been amazing. How do you think all of this change that's happened over the last 24 months has impacted other areas of your life, your relationships, work, etc.? Where are the other areas that you've just gone, wow, this has had a huge impact?
Well, it's had an incredible domino effect. Really, it has. Like from learning how to love myself here and learning how to care for myself properly. It's done wonders for my relationship. It's done wonders for my family. I spend more time with my family. I find more value with my family. I found an excellent work-life balance. And before, I used to work. I put myself last. I put my family and everything away. Everything became about work for me. And it was when I switched that off and just said, you know what, here's my time for work. Here's the time for me that I want to focus on myself. And when I did that, I realised I'd been setting a lot of my goals and I'd been setting a lot of my priorities wrong. And it's really caring about yourself. And when you do that, you realise that the people around you and that care about you also, you need to put the time and care into there. So, you know, family birthdays that I'd missed, I was showing up to, that family were like, oh, hang on, here's Ronnie. He's back again.
And shredded.
And looking good, you know, where's he been?
Yes.
So it definitely had a flow on, not only on my personal emotions and how I felt about myself, but how I feel about my family and my loved ones.
Yeah, amazing. Awesome, mate. So how do you think the transformation and what you've learned in regards to mindset has shifted your thinking? Again, we talk about our first pillar here at UI is, of course, mindset and evolving the way that we think in order to serve us best, communicate, etc. How do you think that's shifted for you, and where has that impacted most?
I think it definitely has to be the fear of failure is something that has shifted for me most of all, because, you know, I tried diets, I tried food, I tried nutritions, and it didn't work. I tried exercise equipment, things like that, it didn't work. And it was only because I was focusing on one of those pillars as the answer to my problems. Not knowing that you really have to have it all there. You've got to have the nutrition, you've got to have the training, and most of all, you've got to have the mindset, because without the mindset, you're not going to follow through on the nutrition, and you're not going to follow through on the training either. So you have to get your head in the right space when you walk in the doors here, and that's whether you're coming in for the first time to do 9 in 6. You really have to look at yourself, and it doesn't matter how many times you've failed and what else has failed before, you've got to walk in here and go, I can do this, I can succeed. And that's when you start to put the foundations for your nutrition and your training in. And so that's, for me, it was the fear was the biggest thing that I overcame when I came in here.
That's massive. That's so true. Again, I was the same for years, focusing on one of the pillars and wondering why I'm always not getting the results that I want long term, etc. And I think the bottom line is if you want sustained results, if you want long term change, if you don't get your mindset right, it's never going to last.
Absolutely.
You can't solve a problem with the same thinking that created it. So it's the same issue with if you create a problem of excess weight, a whole lot of sadness, unhealth, disease, all of that sort of stuff. If you go in with the same thinking, you're just going to revert back to those old patterns and behaviours. And again, I think that is the message for everyone out there listening, is that above everything else, shift your thinking first, and then results will always be sustained.
That's right.
So you've had some crazy changes. Love it. You're a huge element to our community, which again, everyone really appreciates the energy that you bring. I want to know, with all the development that you've gone through over the last 24 months and everything that you've learned about yourself, the shifts in body, the determination that you have, everything, what message would you give your 20-year-old self in order to help that version of you along the way. What advice would you give to him to help you progress faster?
Oh, that's a tough one. Self-belief. Self-belief. Believe in yourself, because, you know, that's where it all starts. Because if you don't have that for yourself, I'm not going to believe what you tell me. I'm not going to believe what this person tells me. I'm not going to be open to listen to the advice of others. And that's what I think, for me, I think my 20-year-old self and a lot of other 20-year-olds think we know all the answers and think we can just cruise on in life and we're untouchable, we're invincible, and at the end of the day, you know, I look back and think of how my health had suffered, how, you know, my possible knee injury could have been avoided, and you know, relationships could have been better, work could have been better, life could have been better all around. But you know, you look back that and just go, don't look back on the past and regret what you've done. You know, I was 35 years old when I walked in here, and you know, you think, is it all too late to make a change for yourself? It's never too late, and that's what I think is one of the biggest things that people need to overcome. I've seen some people that are in their 50s out there on the floor, and I just go, you know what? Damn right. It's never too late to make a change. You could be 10 kilos overweight. You could be 50 kilos overweight. It doesn't matter. If you want to do it, do it.
So true, so true. Some incredible stories, which you're going to hear more of course. One that stands out when you mentioned that's Omar. He's nearly 60.
Omar, yeah.
Nearly 60 years old, and he's done muscle camp. He's gone round 2 and he's got a 6-pack.
Mate,
it blows my mind.
How many people his age would have a 6-pack?
Exactly.
You know, that's just absolutely phenomenal.
And he's not afraid to show it either. He
I've
been
watching the posts come up there, and every time I've seen him check in, and I see him on the floor, and I see him in Saturday mornings training with Andrea, and I just go, wow, that's power, you know. That really is
absolutely
power of the mind, and you know, because there are so many things that you need to overcome.
Yeah, so true.
When you're at that stage, and for him to do that, makes my achievements feel minute when I look at his and what he's doing with himself.
Yeah, there's so inspirational,
amazing.
Isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. So, mate, everyone listening right now, what advice would you give the guys? I mean, some of our community are going to be watching and thinking, I'm inspired, what am I going to do next? There's going to be people that aren't part of our community watching and wondering, gee, should I take the plunge and improve myself? What's a message you'd like to give everyone in regards to improving themselves on their journey of change, if they're ready to take it up? What would you say to these guys?
I'd have to say, if you are not a member here and you haven't been through the program, and 9 in 6 is something that you're thinking about doing and you're wondering whether or not, you need to take the steps to dive in to do this. It's something that is not going to change your life in 6 weeks. It's going to change your life for a lot longer than that. And you know, you've watched television, you've watched, you know, infomercials, you've had fad diets that have come in your Woman's Weekly magazines and all of this sort of stuff, and it just, you know what, you try. This place works, the people know what they're talking about. You need to take the steps, because you've got absolutely nothing to lose besides weight when you walk in here.
Absolutely.
And for anybody else that's in here, like I said, the next goal is your next big achievement, and have a look at yourself and search what that might be. And it might be muscle challenge, it might be bikini body. You could be finishing 9 and 6 and go through the aftermath program. It could be mind body mastery. It's something that will encompass all elements of your life that you want to change. You know, take these steps. These are all investments in yourself, and you can't go wrong when you're invested with yourself. It's not like a stock market where you can lose your money. You know,
Absolutely.
You're investing in yourself in this place, and you will come out of it a better person. You'll be not only fitter and healthier, you'll be more educated, you'll be happier, and you'll have the abilities to set the right goals that are going to take you further in life.
Incredible, Ronnie. Man, I want to say thank you so much for joining us on episode 1 of the UI Spotlight. Man, I'm so excited to see what you do next. I always know that whatever's coming next is going to be so much better than what you've done before, and you've already done so much. Keep inspiring the community, and of course, just keep achieving and being the ultimate version of you. You're an inspiration. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Andy.
Appreciate that, mate. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on next episode of the UI Spotlight.